I had one of my employees, Lloyd, sent me a video over about why Philippines and asked me my thoughts on that. So I thought that I would turn that into a video and talk about why I choose the Philippines. Let's go. So every country has people that are drawn to it for different reasons. And for me, when it comes to the Philippines, from the very first time I came here, there was a number of things that really attracted me to the country and keep pulling me to want to stay here and not to go back to my own country. I want to save the top 2 reasons for last, but I want to start off with what so many people see over here, and that's the diversity of the country. There's beautiful white sand beaches over here. There's a lot of very popular tourist destinations like Boracay, El Nido, Coron, Siargao. These are beautiful white sand beaches with crystal clear blue water. Some of them, like El Nido and Coron, have rock formations that are very unique. And I have to say, out of all the countries that I've been, there's just simply no country that has the amount of beaches that are just as beautiful with such clear blue water as the Philippines. I still haven't got done exploring even a small amount of all the beauty here when it comes to the beaches. Also, there's beautiful mountains and diverse cities over here. There's mountain areas that are remote. There's so much in the Philippines in a relatively small space that makes it really easy to travel and see so much of this beautiful country. The second reason why I choose the Philippines is because it's kind of an idealized America. Now, what do I mean by that? I think that Americans always look back to the 50s. For whatever reason, there's this magical 50s. Maybe it's before everything turned to free love and feminism and so many changes in the 60s. However, I think that there is something a little bit true to this. If you were living in America during the 50s, chances are it wasn't as rosy as everybody idealizes it today. And in the Philippines, it's also not as rosy as people might idealize it in the present time. However, on the whole, people here really are like that picture of Americana at just a different time where people spoke to each other respectfully, where people showed courtesy to each other, where people listened more than they spoke, where people weren't quite so aggressive, where we weren't quite as politically polarized, where men and women were men and women, where relationships really tried to work at things and they didn't give up quite so easy, where people showed respect to elders. There's a lot about that time I think that people really miss in the US. And I think when they come over here to the Philippines, they feel that there's a bit of that still over here. I know that's my feeling and a big part of my reason for choosing the Philippines. Another reason why I choose the Philippines is because there's a different way of doing life here. There's a different way of thinking. What do I mean by that? Well, in the Philippines, when there are problems or when there is different things that happen in life, people just respond to those things different. I find that people here have far lower expectations than they do in the US. And I think that expectations are really the source of so much misery, so much sadness, so much depression that happens in the US. The higher our expectations really means that so many of those expectations are not going to be met. And so even if our standard of life is here and not here where we expect, because they're just a little bit lower than the mark, I think most Americans are going to feel frustrated, depressed, and dissatisfied with their life. On the other hand, in the Philippines, people's expectations are like this. And so if this is what they get, instead of what Americans have up here or Westerners have up here, they're still content and happy. I think at least more so than Americans are. Lower expectations, I think, means more contentment, more happiness. Do Filipinos want more? Of course they want more. However, I think on the whole, they're just more content. They're more satisfied with what they have in life. They're more appreciative of even the very little things over here. As a result, I just see a different way of living. Also, when it comes to living, the way that people talk to each other, even in the language. You know, everybody here still calls each other ma'am or sir or kuya, ate, you know, respectful words for, you know, men or women older than them. They call each other po, which is just kind of, you know, a respectful way to speak to someone else over here. And I think in the language, it really makes a difference. The way that we speak to each other will come out in how we think of each other, how we treat each other, how we communicate with each other. In the US, I feel like we've lost a lot of those things. Maybe there's part of the country or in smaller towns and places like the US where people still are more courteous, where they're more polite, where they're more respectful, where they use that type of language. But on the whole, in the US, I feel like we've lost a lot of those things that I still find here in the Philippines. Another reason why I chose the Philippines, and really my initial reason for thinking about coming over here, was business. For me, when you read a lot of expat forums or talk to a lot of foreigners over here, they really would say the Philippines is the last place that I would want to do business, and that's fine by me. There's less competition. Don't do business over here. However, for me, there's a lot of opportunities here in the Philippines for business, to do things with excellence, to do things different, to think of services or products or platforms that they don't have over here, where there is far less competition, where the bar maybe isn't set quite so high as it is in Western countries, and where doing something with excellence is just a little bit easier than it might be in your own country. Of course, the barriers to entry for most businesses over here are a lot lower as well, which again means that there's a lot more opportunity for more people over here. So business is definitely, for me, part of why I choose the Philippines. However, if you're considering doing business, I highly would recommend talking to myself or others that have done business over here as an expat, because you just want to make sure that you're not coming here with a Western mindset and doing things that make sense in your own country, because they will not work so well in the Philippines. Now, I mentioned that I was going to talk about the two main reasons why the Philippines for me. First one is the people. Now, you expected me to say that, and that's part of why I saved it to last, but it's really heartfelt. It's really true. It's why I choose to live in the Philippines more than any other reason by far. Is I just really love the people over here. They are different, and mostly different in good ways. I find them more kind, more respectful, more humble, more laid back, more gentle, more caring, more family oriented than I'm used to in other places that I've lived in my life. It's not that I don't love my country. It's not that there's not other countries that I really admire that I've been to. I do, and I have. However, for me, the Philippines just really grabs my heart, grabs my mind, and makes it the place that I want to live. Now, final reason why I choose the Philippines is the hot chicks. All right, just kidding. Maybe kidding. Maybe not kidding. It's definitely, I just find, for me, looking for a life partner, I find that the Philippines is a great place. I really think that Filipinas on the whole, not all, but on the whole, are of course just very sweet and caring and kind, and just make a great partner in life. Of course, that takes time to really meet the right person over here, and it's easy for foreigners to make mistakes when they first move over here. But if you are patient and you really take time to get to know Filipinas and different types of Filipinas and the right type of person for you, I think that you would also agree with me that Filipinos make great partners, and you would understand why. That is one of the reasons why I choose the Philippines. So I know I've talked only about the reasons why I love living in the Philippines, but I gotta say, as I've lived here longer, I could really see the Philippines is not a perfect country. People are not perfect here, same as in every other country. It's like a relationship. There's some things that you just love about the person and some things that make you a bit exasperated. That's certainly how I feel here as well. However, the thoughts of why I love the Philippines are definitely heartfelt, and really why I choose the Philippines. So I would love to get your input as well on the items that I mentioned, and also I would love even more to hear why you choose the Philippines. What is it that you love about this country? If you live here or if you've traveled here, why Philippines for you? Drop a comment below. Thanks for taking the time to watch, guys. Take care.